want you to imagine a world where you could eat more food and you liked it more, and you felt like you were eating in a way that was so satisfying that you could continue doing it for the rest of your life. Imagine as well that as you were eating that way, you actually started to lose weight. Would it be easier if you were doing that for you to stay consistent enough to reach, say, like a 40 or 50 or even a 20-pound goal, and then actually maintain that loss? If what you were doing felt easy and enjoyable? Now, I know that that sounds crazy, but I truly believe that that is possible when you understand the concept of calorie density, which is the biggest thing that helped me to lose 40 pounds. And now I maintain it very, very easily, and I have for about the past 4.5 years. So what I'm gonna do in this video is to illustrate to you with some visuals how 600 calories looks for different types of foods. And the coolest thing about this is that you can actually start to design meals that get you losing weight without counting calories, without having to weigh or measure anything, and to actually feel like you enjoy what you're doing as well. So let's do it. We're gonna use Vegeta stock. And you wanna shake this about every 5 minutes. Alright, so the first meal that we're going to look at is what I would call a weight loss optimized meal. So this is 200 grams of tofu, it's about 300 grams of broccoli, and then it is just under 300 grams of sweet potato. Now this is actually a meal that I eat every single day and I absolutely love it. And you could add some sauces if you want, but this works out to 600 calories, 40 grams of protein, and there's a lot of food here. I love this meal because it truly is very, very satisfying for me. And I actually normally eat less than this. I normally eat a 500 calorie meal with a little bit less sweet potato, a little bit less tofu, and enjoy this every single day. So this is a ton of food here, but I want you to contrast that with a very, very small amount of food that I have. This is only 290 grams for the same amount of food from a prepackaged vegan company. And I like this company. I'm not saying anything against them, but when you have processed vegan foods or really any kind of processed foods, they're going to be inherently a whole lot more calorie dense. So the amount of food that we have here in terms of weight is equal to what the sweet potato in this is alone. So which of these do you think is going to be more filling? I don't know about you, but I could eat all of this 800, 900 calorie tiny container and then still be hungry later on. The next food that we want to look at is cashews. So this is a very small amount of cashews. This is about a handful and a half. And this is 600 calories. This is 66 grams of cashews. And I'm not saying that nuts are bad. I think nuts are amazing for you, and there's a lot of research that supports that we should be eating nuts on a regular basis. But because they're so calorie dense, you could be eating more than an entire meal's worth of calories if you're trying to be in a weight loss phase or a weight loss zone, just by standing in the pantry and then eating these as you're thinking about what you're going to eat. A handful or two a day like this could add up to over 4,000 calories per week. So mindlessly snacking on something like nuts could be easily derailing your weight loss. Now this is something that is super wild. Okay, so I have 4 huge broccolis here. This is 600 calories. This is very weighty. This is nearly 2 kilos, which is like, it's about 4 pounds of food right here. I'm not even going to be able to get through this in an entire day, and this is 600 calories. This is calorie density right here. Same amount of calories, and the reason for it is that this is so high in water. Non-starchy vegetables like broccoli are about 95% water. So simply by adding a ton of non-starchy vegetables to your diet on a daily basis, you're going to be able to eat less calories overall because you just can't fit in this much food. This is more food than most people eat in an entire day. So if you were to add 2 heads to your day, you're going to be reducing your other high calorie foods because you just can't fit them in. This is the easiest weight loss strategy that exists, is simply add more vegetables. All right, so here we have some processed vegan sausages, and this is just under 600 calories. It works out to about 550. But as you can see, there's just really not a lot of food here. This is only 300 grams. Let's look at chocolate. So this is a really small amount of chocolate, and I could eat this very, very easily. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with chocolate, but this tiny amount is still 600 calories. That's the same as this many mandarins. I don't even know how many there are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 mandarins. And this is weighty, this is heavy. There's no way that most people would get through this in a sitting. We've got some McDonald's fries right here. This is a large fries, and there's really not a lot of food in this. This is about 500 calories, so I've also got 20 grams of mayonnaise. So if I was gonna go and eat some fries, I could eat a lot more than this, and I'd definitely eat a lot more mayo because I really, really like mayo. I want you to think about how many potatoes do you actually think is in a container of fries. Maybe like one if you're really, really lucky. But if you contrast that with homemade fries, where there's over 600 grams of potatoes in here, that's like 4 potatoes, and then you air fry them, you can eat all of this for the same amount of calories, plus you're gonna feel full. Even though these look like a similar size in terms of volume of food, I mean, it doesn't even do, this does look like a lot more food. It's not like that difference in terms of volume when you look at it. But this is at least 3 times the weight of the fries. And the weight is really, really important when it comes to calorie density, because that bulk and that weight in your stomach is what is going to help you to actually feel full. It's very, very hard to overeat on potatoes. Potatoes are one of the most satiating foods on the planet, unless you're eating a very small amount of them. And the reason that this is so calorie dense is because of the oil. Oil is 4,000 calories per pound. So the moment you add it to your food, you take a low calorie food like potatoes, and then you make it very, very high in calories because you've added the highest calorie food on the planet, even if it's just small amounts. And this is not small amounts because this is deep fried. So what about something like chips? And it looks like there's a lot of chips here, but this is only 113 grams. So that's about a packet, like not an American packet. I shouldn't say that. This is not actually a lot of chips. I'd be able to eat this very, very easily. For contrast in weight, this is only a little bit less in weight, these cashews that we have. If I was to crunch this up, there's really not much food here, but it's 600 calories, which means that it's gonna be so easy to eat this amount on top of meals that you're already having. This is where most people start to gain weight, is it's not their day-to-day meals, although it can be, as we saw with that processed vegan meal that I had. It's really what else they're adding to their day and to their lifestyle over and above their meals. You can easily see how with some chocolate and some chips, we're already at 1,200 calories, and this is just like a snack. I'm not even counting everything else that we've eaten for the rest of the day. If you have a handful of nuts between lunch and dinner, then you're at 1,800 calories over and above what you would have been eating on your meals. And this is why calorie density is so important, because by contrast, I can barely even lift this. This is so much food right here. We've got 3 carrots, we have an entire cucumber, we have a ton of celery, we've got a huge dollop of hummus right here, plus we have a wrap that I air fried into chips. Now this entire meal is the same amount of calories. This is 600 calories. So look at the difference in these two, how much food you have here, and this is a huge weight versus what you have here. Here's even more of a marked contrast where you have this, and then you have this very, very tiny amount of cashews. You know, the craziest part about it is that I didn't even use an oil-free hummus or a homemade hummus for this huge dollop that you see here. This is a hummus that actually has oil in it. You can eat so many vegetables and lower your calories when you work smarter, not harder. You know what, I just actually realized this is only 570 calories because even when I put it all together, I didn't have enough food to make it 600. So I lied, it's not 600, it's like 570. We've got some Ben & Jerry's here, and this is the chocolate chip cookie dough. I've got about half a tub here. It's actually 220 grams. So this is 600 calories. I could very, very easily eat this if I was not feeling amazing. I could eat the whole thing, which would be like over 1,000 calories. And for that same amount of food, you could have 2 Ninja Creamies. These are 300 calories each, and they taste absolutely delicious. And by the way, I have a recipe for my favorite Ninja Creamy ice cream, so you can go check that out next if you're interested. I don't know about you, but I'd rather eat one of these to myself, which is the same as an entire tub of Ben & Jerry's, and be eating half the calories of if I had had half a tub. Right now, I feel like the boss from The Dukes of Hazzards, where it's like 50% or 50%. You can eat more and lower the calories. You think if you could have desserts in your lifestyle and still move towards your goals, you'd actually be able to maintain that? Yeah, probably. Just don't be eating Ben & Jerry's. Eat something like this instead. This stuff tastes better anyway. All right, we don't have Starbucks in my town, but we do have McDonald's, as you've seen. And these are 2 soy sweetened lattes. And I had to actually take some out of this because just one of these is 350 calories. So this works out to about 600 calories here. And I don't know about you, but I could easily be having 2 of these in a day. If I did have Starbucks in my town, I'd be showing you some of the Starbucks drinks that are actually over 600 calories simply for one drink. Bear in mind that this is only 570, so it's more than this entire plate of food right here. And I can guarantee that you would not be able to eat this much. I can't eat this much. I don't want to eat this much. Just like I don't want to eat 2 tubs of ice cream. And by the way, I absolutely love a coffee and I definitely will drink these on occasion. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm having a coffee that I make at home with a splash of soy milk in it that's really going to be only about 100, maybe 120 calories if I add some cocoa powder on top. But I still get to enjoy what I'm doing and I don't have to add so many unnecessary calories that are going to mean that I can't actually move towards my goals or maintain my weight loss. The biggest thing that held me back before I lost weight is that I thought that I had to eat less. And so I'd always be cutting my portions, going really hungry, and then feeling like I had to be perfect with my diet. So the moment that I went on a little bit of a splurge, or I did have a little bit of Ben & Jerry's, or I did eat more than what I thought I was meant to, I thought that I'd completely ruined my diet, which would send me onto a binge where I could easily be eating 1,200 calories like this, and then another 1,200 calories like this, not to mention making my other meals more decadent as well. And so you can easily see how simple it is to get to a 4,000 or even a 5,000 calorie weekend simply because you gave up on your diet. The reason that calorie density is so powerful is that all we need to do to get into that weight loss zone, and by the way, a 500 to 600 calorie meal for most women, providing that it is filling and that you don't need to snack between meals, is going to be amazing to get you into that fat loss zone. As one of 3 meals, that's only 1,500 calories. Plus you are going to have like a coffee and maybe you add some sauces and some other things in there. Maybe you have one of these for dessert every night. You're still only looking at about 1,800 calories, which by the way, for most people, if they were to stay consistent, they didn't have these every weekend or one of these every day, then they probably would actually start losing fat. This is how I lost 40 pounds and it's how I keep it off really easily. I'm not perfect and I do occasionally eat some of these foods, but the majority of my diet is a ton of vegetables, some potatoes and rice and beans and some of those unprocessed, slightly higher calorie foods, and then a very small amount of those ultra processed high calorie foods or things like nuts and seeds, which means I'm never really able to feel deprived. I don't have to follow strict rules. And I get to actually live in a body that I enjoy with a ton more health and energy than I ever thought possible. And believe me, if I can do this, then anyone can. I didn't start this with a ton of discipline and I'm lazy to boot, which is why I eat meals like this every day because it is so easy. And if you want to see what my daily meals look like, then you can go, I don't know if it's this side or this side, watch that video next. All right, well that's it from me. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please let me know in the comments which of these things gave you the most insight. Were you blown away? Did you know this stuff already? I'd love to hear what was helpful for you. If you want to know my 5-step framework for how to build weight loss meals and to get into that weight loss zone, then I did make a free mini course for you, which you can find the information about in the description. So at this point, we've had over 10,000 women go through the program and they found it incredibly helpful. I get messages every day from people who have lost 10, 15, even like 30, 40 pounds from understanding these principles just from watching that free resource. So go check it out. You can also subscribe if you want more, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye.